Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the Wheel and Chill show. I didn't mess up the intro this time very badly. We're all happy that you're here. We have a very special guest today. Today we're going to be talking about Lan and Nynaeve independently and together, because that is a ship I think we are all set sail on right now. First though, I want to introduce our very special guest. This is Rachel, aka Gray Ajah Sitter on TikTok and Twitter. Wow, that kind of rhymes. Look at you. Did you plan it that way? Okay. Rachel, just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into the Wheel of Time? What is your content like on TikTok? By the way, her details should be in the description of this video. If they aren't now, they will be after. And just tell us, how you engage with the fandom.
Well, let's see. I started making TikToks not that long ago. And it's kind of slapdash, just basically, I don't know, just jokes about the Wheel of Time. That's really all it is. It's just me joking about the Wheel of Time. I've been reading the series since I want to say mid-2016.
Nice.
My husband was a big fan and he got me into it. He actually, when we first started dating, he kept trying to get me to read the book. And I was like, I don't know, that's a commitment. I don't know. That's a lot of books. That's a lot of books. So, anyways, finally he won me over. I finally read them. And then I became more of a hardcore fan than he was.
Love that. I love that.
So,
it's awesome.
So I'm on my, I want to say my 6th reread, but it's kind of paused because I've been reading other books too.
Okay. What are you reading right now?
Right now, I just started The First Law by Joe Abercrombie.
Nice.
It's another one of those series I've been meaning to read for quite some time, and I haven't gotten around to it.
Sure.
Until now.
Okay.
Nice.
Welcome everyone to the chat. I see you all. Thank you for being here. Jessica Sadai, thank you so much for the super chat, $5.
Super chat.
Shiba dog in combat position. I'm gonna assume that is I'm gonna assume that's a sticker. Because
It is a sticker. It's an animated GIF. We've had this issue before.
Yeah, this is the thing where I'm on Streamlabs. That's how I see chat, all the Twitch chat, all the YouTube chat, all at once. And so whenever somebody posts a sticker, I don't get to see the sticker. I get to read the description. And the first time that happened, I didn't realize, and I just thought somebody was saying like lemon character holding his hand, like cheering or something. And I was like, "What are you saying?" And then I realized that that was an image.
It was hilarious.
So
it was the best.
It was crazy. All right, so we usually also introduce ourselves briefly. We're also going to talk just for a second about the Brandon Sanderson Kickstarter, because that is the news of the day before we get into Lan and Nynaeve. But obviously most of the stream will be about Lan and Nynaeve. So I will start. I am Kritter XD on TikTok and obviously YouTube and Twitch and Twitter, although I'm also Egwene Alfier on Twitter. If you haven't yet, maybe join my Discord. I tell everyone that Wheel and Chill is happening every week on my Discord. We talk about super cool stuff. There's a Cosmere section. There's a Vox Machina section, because I'm officially a Kritter now. I don't know if you knew that. Like Kritter the Kritter. And yeah, so this is great. This is lovely to have you all here. Winespring, why do you introduce yourself?
That's me. I'm Winespring from winespringcafe.com. You should go there. Not right now. You should stay here and keep watching. But go there later, winespringcafe.com. There is a recipe for a really rich, delicious soup for Nynaeve. It is her recipe. She totally made it. So yeah, go there. Check it out. It's Nynaeve's garlic gnocchi soup. Delicious. winespringcafe.com. One more time. Okay.
They're not now.
Winespring Cafe?
No.
Not now, but soon.
Okay.
As soon as possible after the
show.
Yep. Okay, Tavern.
Go eat my food.
Eat your food for sure. Tavern, why don't you hit us with your deets?
My deets are Varying Tavern. I'm on TikTok. I sell merch on Redbubble. And
Zazzle.
Public. And we have our 16-ounce frosted mug with our logo. I don't know if Kritter has hers nearby or not, but either way.
I do, but I'm wearing
We
shorts
have our
right now,
frosty mug.
so I'm not moving. If I'm being honest. You guys aren't getting the legs today. Sorry about that.
That's funny. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
The Meme Reborn has had the soup. It's amazing, so make sure to go on the website. That's Tavern in a Nutshell. The mug is fabulous. I'm not going to show you today, but it is a lovely, lovely mug. I have both the coffee edition and the frosted edition, and they're both great. A Tavern also has a heater, so let's never forget about
That's
the
my
heater.
heater. Wait, is it not showing?
It is barely. It's in there, like just slightly. It's
Hey.
That's a good point. Holly
miss the
Welch
heater.
is asking, Rachel, did you bring your ring to the stream?
I did not bring it with me to the stream. It's in the other room.
Are you
Sorry.
wearing shorts too? That's totally understandable.
Just stay seated. It's fine.
Everybody,
Are we all
stay
wearing
still.
shorts?
Winespring, are you wearing shorts? Is it a shorts day?
Wearing shorts.
It's not shorts.
It's not a shorts day. Okay, that's fine.
It's not a shorts day.
Winespring is not wearing pantalones.
Well, I think that's
Not
wow.
true.
I feel like let's move on from that.
you.
Rachel, I think have you posted on like Twitter the ring that you got? Because
I
it's
have.
beautiful.
It's actually, if you go to my Twitter page, it is my pinned tweet at Ajah Sitter. So if you need to see it, it's right there.
It's right
Cool.
there.
It looks really good. It came out really, really good.
It's beautiful. I
still can't believe it's there. I'm like, so I have to, I'm like Gollum about it. Like I have to like go back and look at it. And
my precious.
My precious. And it's a whole
Nim Heathrill is speaking Spanish in the Twitch chat. Puedo hablar español. Soy alérgico a los crustáceos. Oh, so why are you talking about being
Where is
allergic to
this?
crustaceans right now? I'm not really sure what's going on.
Sí, puedes hablar español si quieres. Yo te hablo en español.
Okay, wow, look at us. Look at us.
We are bilingual.
You know, I
up
was
in
a
this
Spanish
jack.
minor once.
What? Very cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's been a while. I mean, let's be honest. I can't talk like Tavern just talked, but I do my best.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's allergic to crustaceans,
Beautiful.
is what he's saying.
That's what I said. I read it. Okay, I just don't sound like. I just sound very Midwestern when I speak Spanish, unfortunately.
Oh, hablo el español.
Muy bien.
Oh no! Don't do that.
E2. Sorry, it's horrible. But no, I think it's
E2O.
God, we need to. Okay, we're talking. Let's first. Okay, there's major breaking news
Ended.
today before we get into Lan.
There's a Kickstarter.
There's a Kickstarter. Brandon Sanderson trolled us all to death yesterday.
Yes.
He said
He's the best.
seriously something about like this extremely grave announcement or whatever. It was something he's been keeping from us, a very serious subject, whatever. Like something. It sounded bad. I was really kind of worried about it. And then today he comes out. He posts a video on YouTube, and he gets really serious and talks about the things he's been doing behind closed doors. And it turns out those things are writing 5 books in quarantine. Like, what? 5 extra.
because of course he did.
Bless his heart.
Like a boss. Yes.
So
He didn't have to do it in such a Val and Luca way, though. It was kind of.
it was pretty dramatic. It was
Like
Right.
changing of the shirts, the boards being moved around all like silently. Background.
And
It was
Brando Luca.
awesome to watch.
yeah.
There's
Have
like
y'all
the whole
seen what the
Mr.
Kickstarter's
Rogers
at?
like changing of the jackets and
Yes.
He said he needed to become Professor Brandon, right? And yeah, the whiteboard
Yeah.
game was on point. Sith guy says the whiteboard game in that video was high. It was.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Super impressive.
He trolled everyone, but the big news is that there's a Kickstarter going right now that has already Winespring. You just checked. Well, what are we at?
Over $11 million.
What did he ask for? One?
One. His
and
ask.
he started with one.
His ask
Jesus
was
Christ.
One.
and now we're at over
It's ridiculous.
11.
Yeah.
Brando
41,000 backers. Wow.
That's
fantastic.
That is amazing.
Excellent.
Thank you, Jessica Sedai, for hearing that and appreciating it and making it your headcanon. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Brando Luca, says Jessica Sedai. Headcanon accepted. It's true. It's very Kelsier. It's dramatic. The dramatic flair. So, yeah, like everyone else was baking bread, and Brandon was writing
Baking bread.
extra books in quarantine.
Baking
so
sourdough.
good for him. Crazy. Yeah, it went, I guess Critical Role was also a Kickstarter, and I feel like that one went just like absolutely exploded too. I don't know like whether it was on par. I think they asked for like 750,000 if I'm remembering.
Yeah, they made a bunch of money. They had like, I want to say like $3 million for it or something like that.
It was many
$4 million.
millions.
It might have been a little bit. It was several $1 million, but they didn't ask for that much.
No.
It's not on par with this. This is ridiculous.
This is crazy. I wonder what like the record is. I'm sure this probably hasn't beaten a record, but it feels like it might have because it's millions of dollars on Kickstarter. Like what? Yeah. Critical Role went crazy also really quickly. So you know what you know what you love to see.
I just finished it.
Is nerds.
Vox Machina.
Nerds backing their favorite properties, right? Like
that's how I got so much money.
Literally.
So
that's exactly it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. What are we ready for?
So, this is stupid. I mean, these are the highest funded crowdfunding projects. I don't know if they're on Kickstarter. Most funded Kickstarter projects of 2021.
Oh wow.
Okay, sure. Double Time in 2015 raised 20.34, assuming million.
20? Okay. Vox Machina. Let's hear it.
Vox Machina. Vox Machina was 11.39. Wow, 11.39. So, yeah, he's on par. They were on par with this. Wow, holy shit.
Wow.
Let's see. But they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 6th or 7th in line. He is about to. He just not. I'm sure he's got them knocked out of the way. If he hits anything above 13 million, he'll be in second.
Okay, I feel like that's guaranteed. With how fast he's already gotten 11. Holly Welch asks in the chat, "Do y'all think Wheel of Time is feminist?" That's not.
Oh my God, Holly!
Oh, hey, listen, this is awesome. We're on point with this. We're good. We have this conversation all the time. It is definitely feminist. I don't like. No, I'm kidding.
It is feminist, and that's a good thing.
It's my daughter, and
yeah.
she texted me just now. She's like, "I'm trying to be a Wheel of Time fan, even though I haven't read the books. I'm trying to get to know it."
Okay,
so
it's 100% feminist.
All right, so
here we go.
Teens. Are we going teens for age?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, and does she want to read the books?
Possibly. She's like how I was about it initially. Like, that's a big commitment. That's a lot of books, and they're not short books.
Everybody that I've gotten to read The Wheel of Time since the show came out, gotten like 3 or 4 people to start reading the books. As soon as book 1 is done, they're immediately looking for book 2. Mm-hmm. Period. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get hooked as soon as you read book 1.
I say try to get through the first 7 chapters. If you can do that, you're gonna stay. You're gonna finish it.
Definitely.
And I would I think at the beginning a lot of people, some women that I've talked to, have gotten a little turned off by the portrayal of women at the beginning. But you just have to know that it is a long series, and some of the women at the beginning, some of the main characters, are very young, and so they make a lot of moves that seem like childish or selfish. But that's just them at the time, and it's like a completely understandable reaction, and eventually they grow up, and it's watching them grow up is just immensely satisfying. And the women in the series, in my mind, are the strongest characters. My favorite character in The Wheel of Time is a woman. And so, yes.
Which woman is that?
Egwene Alvear. So
not the one we're talking about tonight.
Yeah, not the one we're talking about tonight.
Know.
But book 1 is a gateway drug, says Luke, Ice Jedi, and you're right.
It's true.
It's true. It's true. So do it. Do it. All right.
It could be worse in the terms of feminism. Rational nerd. I think that's great. It could be worse.
That is a way to phrase
worse.
it. Yes. Okay, so tonight we're not talking about the Kickstarter, even though we talked about it. We're not talking about feminism in the Wheel of Time, although let's jot that one down as a really good topic for another stream. We are talking about Lan and Nynaeve, okay? In the show versus in the books. Winespring's typing. I love it. You can hear
I'm so sorry.
Clickety click, click, click. Really?
I did not want to forget our future show idea.
She's just taking notes.
And what? Oh, and since you all in the chat, just beware that this is a full spoilers stream. Okay, if you haven't read the books,
spoilers.
If you haven't read the books yet, and you're worried about finding anything out about anything that happens with Nynaeve and Lan, and probably some other characters that are going to be related to these topics, now is your time to leave. We love you. We're happy that you're here. If you're not worried about getting spoiler, stick around. Spoiled, stick around. Stick around. Okay, so let's talk about the differences between, like, do we want to, like, go just Lan and first, or, like, just Nynaeve, or do we want to just, like, open it up? How about this? Gray, Ajah, Sitter, Rachel, I know you took some time to think about this topic. What do you want to talk about first?
Yes.
Obviously, it's got to be my favorite character, Nynaeve.
Okay, there we go.
It has to be. It has to. We have to start out with Nynaeve.
All right, so what was the biggest difference for you? Like, did anything stand out to you between the show and the books?
Well, I'd like to say I feel like they really stuck her character. They really nailed it with Nynaeve. And there's not too much variation from Nynaeve in the books. As opposed, I mean, just the spirit of the character. I'm sold, 110% sold on this portrayal of Nynaeve. And that was the one I was the most worried about personally, because I love her so much. The biggest thing was, I guess, the physicality of her character taking down a Trolloc on her own. Like, that was some awesome, I was here for it. I appreciated it. But I was surprised that they showed her. I figured there'd be some physicality. That was a change for me that I wasn't expecting.
I like that. That's a good point. She wasn't terribly physical. I'm sorry, somebody in the chat, the Beam Reborn. They nailed it.
I nailed it.
Wow.
I would pin that, but Streamlabs only lets me pin things on Twitch. I apologize. Or I would totally
I'm gonna write that down.
do it.
I'm writing that down. That's fantastic.
Beth Weston, thank
gosh.
you again for becoming a member. I think you just did that, and I really appreciate it. Zoe Robbins is the personification of Nynaeve, and I completely agree. I think she's so good. Winespring, did you have any other, like, did you see differences? Do you think she's pretty much nailed? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, she's a little bit different, but not in any like grandiose way. I think getting to see that moment where she, pursues Lan so femininely for her own enjoyment, like I don't really.
What are you saying?
See,
You're talking about the segs. You're talking about the segs.
You know that stuff that happens.
Hey now, hey, what's on screen?
Yeah,
There's no
that
nudity.
stuff. I don't remember her being that forward in the books, so I think that's kind of the only thing maybe that I really see a big difference. And Zoe is totally like canon for me as I like read through things, like, and just thinking about Nynaeve, that's who I see. So I can't imagine anyone else actually playing her.
Can't either.
Not anymore. Not anymore. She owns it now. It's hers.
Yes.
She took it for herself, and I love that.
Yeah, and Daniel Luhu in chat says they got her vulnerability better in the show than in the books, and I totally agree with that. Instead of her like just being vulnerable and just coming off harsh, like she's just vulnerable and still kind of comes off a little more lovey. Like you're definitely on Team Nynaeve by the end.
I liked her better in the show than I did in the early books. And I know it's like some book stands might get mad at me, but like I just think she's more likable. Like in the books, she's rough. to like get along with for some people, you know. And honestly, maybe I'm just like personifying Egwene here because they kind of like butt heads because Nynaeve like for a long time tried to like really lead the way and be like, you know, you're the kid, I'm the adult, I'm gonna be the boss, when eventually Egwene is no longer a kid and she's still treating her that way. And you know, she's the stick thumping, the like all of that stuff. I'm you know, the braid tugging, which didn't happen in the show. There's some things that just got a little old for me at the beginning. Granted, Nynaeve grows up and she grows into one of my favorite characters. At the beginning, though, didn't love her so much. In the show, from the get-go, I loved her. The moment she yelled at the Trolloc, like, ah, you know, like the Trolloc yells at her and she yells right back. I was like, huh,
that was beautiful.
This chick. Oh, no, yeah. So
this is Nynaeve.
I'm living for the portrayal of Nynaeve in the show. Tavern, hit me with some thoughts on the Nynaeve differences. How do you feel about it?
Well, as with most of the characters, are different from the books. I agree 100% with all of you. There's still the hard side of Nynaeve, the tough side of Nynaeve. But they expanded her emotional range in the show as opposed to the books, where the books she was pretty one-dimensional for a while.
At least she seemed that way.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, in the beginning of the books, in the beginning of the series, she was pretty one, you know, like you said, thumping people with a stick and always trying to be in charge. And, but you know, they expanded her emotional range in the show, like they did with Lan and with several of the other characters. I think they did a brilliant job. You're right. You know, she is headcanon now. I can't picture Nynaeve any other way.
Yeah, she's amazing. Cody 1771 on Twitch says, her and Moiraine were totally nailed. My favorite character so far. I think I'm right there with you. Honestly, like, Egwene's my favorite book character, but in the show, like, Moiraine was incredible and Nynaeve was just kind of hard to beat. Like, they had so many amazing moments that it's just kind of hard to overlook. Lan's also up there too, and coincidentally, we're talking about him today. Sorry, Tavern, go ahead.
I was gonna say I almost forgot, one of the biggest changes I saw in the show from the books, there was not that conflict that we could see between the women's circle and Nynaeve. It was almost like on the show, she was in charge.
Yeah.
I didn't see any bickering. She took the lead. So I'm kind of glad they got that, because that was really a pain in the ass in the books.
She was defensive, and honestly, I think we got a little bit of that defensive-ness in the scene with her and Moiraine at the pool. You know, because she's like, just because I'm young doesn't mean I can't handle or I can't do my job. That's the.
It started before that, when Moiraine walked into the tavern and Moiraine completely ignored Nynaeve and went right past her. The look that Nynaeve gave her was it. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think we still get some of Nynaeve's like insecurities in the show. They're not as, I guess I don't even know if they were obvious in the books. Maybe they are on rereads, because you know that she's thumping people with sticks because she's insecure and she wants them to think that she's in charge, right? At first glance, though, maybe that's not so obvious. In the show, though, it's like she literally says it. Like, I'm not too young to do my job. I can do my job. You know, it's a lot clearer, and a lot of things in the show, obviously, you have to like show rather than tell, which I appreciate. But
I do want to piggyback off what Winespring said a little bit ago, about how, she's definitely, again, with the physicality, like making the moves on Lan. And she does that to an extent in the books, because she's the one she's pursuing him in the books. You know, she wants to have a relationship with him, and he's the one being more off-putting about it. So she does do that to an extent, but she's definitely a lot more puritanical, so to speak.
I mean, and we've discussed it before.
All of them were really,
We've discussed it before, where the book
puritanical
book A5 were or EF5 were almost pure virgins. I don't know what you want to call
prudes.
They was
prudes.
Yeah, they were prudes.
Virgins.
Yeah, I mean, well, they were. I'm guaranteed, except for maybe Matt. Matt was not, but,
Matt was a child. Let's be honest. Like at the beginning of the books, he was a child.
Yeah.
He was. But I mean, you're right. In the books, she pursues him. He's putting her off because of his perceived duty that he's carrying around. Right? He doesn't want to give her, make her a widow and all of this stuff. And in the show, it looks like they took that out. Like, it kind of talked about it, but they were both kind of going for it, which was pretty amazing.
I think a lot of that had to play into the fact that they were both going to the eye of the world, expecting to die the next day.
Oh, yeah.
Very,
That's a
very
good point.
realistic. Very realistic.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. I
Quick
think
connections being made.
well, yeah, sure. Like, and the same thing somebody said that about in the Egwene show, like last week or whenever that was. Like Egwene going to Rand in that time of like it was for comfort. It felt more like for comfort because she was still gonna go be, and if she wanted to be an Aes Sedai, she's gonna go be an Aes Sedai. And in this way, Lan literally, I mean, they get together, and then the next morning, Lan's like. He gives her the speech, like I will hate the man you love because he isn't me.
Yes.
I mean, I do this, but I mean, it's beautiful when somebody else does it.
It is. It's beautiful.
But he's basically saying we can't be together, which is, after we bang. But we thought we were gonna die. So yeah,
Call him Al Kritter.
sorry.
Well,
No,
also,
Nynaeve wanted
Nynaeve's
it
not
too.
pushing.
Damn.
But also, Nynaeve's not pushing him as hard as she does in the book. Like, she's a lot more, she seems not so much realistic. I don't want to say that, but she's not, in the beginning, I have a note.
Bring it on. I love notes.
Get it.
Notes.
Hold on. It's right here.
For example, in this photo, she's
You're fine.
stabbing him. Or tried to stab him.
Can't
I
believe he
love
tried
that
to kill
scene.
me.
I think they're calling that foreplay.
Pretty much for them.
Hey, for some people, I mean, I'm not gonna keep shame.
So in the book, she says, "Are you going to shame me? Like, are you going to make me ask?"
Yeah.
And then that's when he leads into the "I would never shame you," and then he, the epic of line that he drops. So again, she's not really like she says, like she makes it sound like there's the possibility, like, well, now I'm becoming an Aes Sedai, and there's this possibility that I could have a husband, and then, but she doesn't really push him hard for it like she does in the Eye of the World.
Yeah, and it's really cool. And this was I just bring this back up. We talked about it during the season that in the books he drops that line while they're resting in the Blight and they can see the Seven Towers of Malkier. On the show, they drop the line right either before or after, I believe, that Rand and Moiraine were looking at the Seven Towers of Malkier while they were in the Blight, which is kind of cool. So they weren't there, but they kind of put it in there about the same time. So it kind of still played along with the books, which was kind of cool.
I'm loving to see all the thirst in the chat. By the way, you people are nasty, but I'm into it.
Okay, so Dana Lou, who already kind of answered this, but Ori on YouTube asked a question that I would like Rachel to answer. That was remind me, doesn't she basically bully Lan into being with her?
Well, it depends on how I mean, I don't feel she does. I don't feel she does, because Lan wants to be with her. He does want to be with her. His love for her is undeniable. I don't think she's necessarily bullying him into it. No. She's trying to. They're both very stubborn people. And Lan is equally, if not more, stubborn than she is.
Oh God, yes.
So I think it's more of a matter of, it seems like she was, I don't feel she was bullying him. Full stop.
I think she bashed down his excuses.
I think she was just trying to get through those walls that he puts up.
Yeah.
Yeah, she battered down his excuses. It might, kind of look like bullying, but I don't think that's because like Rachel just said, he wanted to be with her, and she just made it possible by just dismantling his walls.
Yep. Tearing down the walls. Thank you for the sub, Kat, by the way, on YouTube. I appreciate it. This question in the chat is actually a good way to sort of continue the conversation and what the plan is for today anyways, and that is Sith Guy asks, do you think most of the beats from their story will be the same, accelerated or not, because they can go books away from each other? No. And I think in the first, just to like look at the first season first, to kind of take like the example of what they did in season 1, the locations, a lot of them were the same. Their destination essentially was the same. Their motivation was the same. Their relationship was similar but accelerated. But like obviously there was some new stuff, like the Nynaeve goes Super Saiyan in episode 4. That didn't happen in the books, but it was awesome.
Oh, it's a good.
I'm still here for it.
I'm still here for it.
Amen.
Amazing.
Yes.
I nailed it.
They nailed that.
I nailed it.
The entire Aes Sedai Logain camp was not in the books.
Right.
But it played well because the beat in the book was that they were traveling to meet everybody together, and so we got glimpses of their travels. So it could be easily slipped into the show like they did, and it worked out really well.
Yeah, they're trying to establish the Aes Sedai politics earlier on than they do in the books, just for like world building purposes, and because I think Rafe has an affection for the Aes Sedai, which I agree with, because like I think that's a really strong part of the books that will pull people in, because we need the viewers. And so that was the perfect way to introduce these. Here's Leandrin. That woman's a snake. You know what I mean? Here's all these other Aes Sedai. One of them ends up dying, and it's this horrible thing that leads into the lesson that we learned about warders and how the death of an Aes Sedai can affect a warder. I think there was excellent world building in that little arc that didn't happen in the books.
Yeah. And
it didn't take away from where they were ultimately going, which is somebody ends up Rand at the Eye of the World. So that kind of rises, like, we're talking about Nynaeve here first. Where's Nynaeve going in season 2? Rachel, do you have a thought?
Well, I mean, I think she has to go to the White Tower. I think because they're accelerating. There's no, I mean, and that's how it goes in the books. I mean, she does go to the White Tower, so I think that's the next logical step. And I think that's where we're going to meet some other interesting characters and, again, further develop that world. And I'm, and then after that, going to Falma subsequently. And I think we're going to see that whole Falma plot line play out. Those are the easy guesses. I feel like that's a sure thing.
I feel like her plot in season 2 is not terribly difficult to predict. Do you, Tavern or Winespring, disagree? Winespring, do you have some thoughts other than that?
Where did we leave her in the finale? Where was she?
She was being resurrected by a...
Okay, but we know it's not as resurrected.
Something like that.
Whatever you call it.
She was healed.
Yeah,
so
CPR.
She was healed. They were still just on the beach, right? And so
she got CPR at Tarwin's Gap. That's where they...
the beach, the sand, wherever she was at. It's not a beach, not even close to a beach.
Do you think, though, she's headed next to the White Tower, pretty much post-haste?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of needs to be the next step.
Her and Egwene both.
We keep discussing this time jump, right?
If there will be one or not,
If there will be one or not. And so, in the eventuality that there is, I could definitely see Egwene and Nynaeve in the tower. One is accepted, the other one is a newbie, and already having been there, already going through the crap that they go through, and shortly thereafter, if they follow the books, Leandrin or whoever getting them out of there and trying to get them to Falma. That's if we plan on seeing Falma mid-season. Right?
Yeah, I think we
will.
Then
Tyr at the end of the season. So if that's the case, then that would be another vote for a time jump.
I hate that though, unless so Jessica Sedai,
I do too, but
Jessica Sedai in the chat, I agree with you here. I really, really want the accepted test. So there's a question: Are we going to get Nynaeve as an accepted while Egwene remains a novice? That's something that they may change. I feel like
just to move it along.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that
they've already set it up though.
How so? Because she's
With
so
Swan,
powerful.
with Swan telling her you're the most powerful or whatever, and Egwene getting all happy, and then she goes Nynaeve, and Egwene was like, "Boo." Right?
Oh my god, that scene was hilarious.
That they set that shit up that she would be ahead of Egwene.
Yeah.
At least in my eyes, that they set it up.
I think you're right in that, like, the thing is like, she's never... It's the control over the weaves, I think, that is the most important for advancement to accepted. And, like, to me, Egwene maybe has more control than Nynaeve does, because Nynaeve always does it by accident. And she might have her block now. We don't know that either.
We saw how focused Egwene can be,
when
Perrin was being tormented. I mean, jeez.
Sheesh.
That's
I think they have shown the block, but they haven't explicitly discussed the block.
You're right.
Because
Or
every
Nynaeve's
time
block?
it's
Yeah.
happened, it's been an emotional outburst.
Absolutely, the block is there for sure. It happened when everybody died in the cave. That's when she first had her explosion. She was angry to have to even be there at Tarwin's Gap, which is why she was able to channel not only that, but somebody was kind of pulling it through her. The block is definitely there. Just haven't explained it.
I think that's so, but the Aes Sedai might not know that either. Mithril on Twitch, one of you will receive a White Tower rose in the ceremony. But my thing is, it seems like they're trying. Yeah, they have said that Nynaeve is more powerful than Egwene. So in that vein, and because she's made some big displays of power with Aes Sedai present, she might get made accepted. I think there could also be an argument for her
that's a good point.
not being made accepted just because they seem to be putting her and Egwene on like more of a friend than a more of a friend level. That's the vibe I'm getting. It's less like mentor mentee and more like besties. I might be reading it wrong.
Besties or sisters.
Like
I
sisters.
think it's a little bit of both. I think you can
Okay.
still see the mentor, and they really, in the first episode, they really show how Nynaeve is this mentor in their traditional setting, yet she has been a mentor to her. But yeah, as the season progressed, they seem more equals than they do mentor mentee. So it's been a bit of both, but I like that. I actually like that they've leaned into more of a mutual respect between the two of them. But that could change. That could change next season. I mean, who knows what they're going to do with that?
Yeah, the conflict between the two of them went on for way too long.
Oh, it did.
In the books.
It did.
So I too am glad that this is kind of going that route. But and we're talking about Nynaeve, but I've like Gwen, when Nynaeve got pulled out, right, or taken out by a Trolloc, or I'm going to be a wisdom thing was in jeopardy. Then she got pulled out by Moiraine. Moiraine's like, oh, we're going to make you, you can be an Aes Sedai, and she immediately latched on to Moiraine as a mentor, kind of, right?
Yeah.
But then they got separated again. So again, Gwen will go to wherever she thinks she's going to learn the most. So far in the show, it looks like that's what she's going for. Wherever she's going to learn the most, that's where she's going to go.
Sure.
And that's the direction she's going to take.
100%.
As far as the
I have a
friendship,
question.
yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
So how did you guys feel about the little plot twist? No, not so much plot twist, but little bit of change to Nynaeve's origin story. So
With her parents?
It's the same as the books for the most part. She was orphaned. She was raised by the previous wisdom. However, they did add that bit about the Aes Sedai, or the former wisdom wanting to become an Aes Sedai, making it to the tower and being turned away, and that's why she harbors this resentment and distrust. How did you guys feel about that change?
I'll be honest with you, I liked it because in the books, I don't recall there really being a reason for her to be so distrustful of Aes Sedai. She didn't like Moiraine for whatever reason.
Yeah.
This gives it, plausibility. There's a reason now as to why she doesn't like Aes Sedai. Not just Moiraine herself, but Aes Sedai in general. So Moiraine coming in and asking a bunch of questions. I mean, she didn't do herself any favors by interrogating Nynaeve in the pool, right? 'Cause that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
And the fact that she was standing above her looking down as a wisdom, I'm sure she wasn't used to that. So yeah, I mean, she didn't do herself any favors, but I think it suits a distrust and the dislike story better
Yeah.
than in the books.
I'd like to address something in the chat. People are having some technical issues or like quality issues. I accidentally had both the Twitch stream and the YouTube stream going in the background, so I just closed them both. I'm hoping that will help because I assume it's on my end. And just
Get a new banner.
And just as like, you know, you may want to refresh the stream, but I closed those, so hopefully it'll get better, and I apologize for that. I usually don't have them up, but I had them up in order to check to make sure the stream was running, and I forgot to close them. So
yeah, we need a new banner then that says "We are professionals."
We are the peak.
We are figuring it out.
I'm not.
We are professionals.
Yeah, I think people are talking about whether they were accepted in the show, and I don't think it was ever said, but I think people spotted like the dresses and stuff and maybe
It was
like
weird
in the crowd
Like
whenever
the
they were
armbands.
Yeah, something.
There were no armbands. They were white dresses. And they were out in. Okay, so they were out in the city of Tarvalon.
Uh-huh.
I mean, people were like, "Oh, there was a well-dressed lady walking in front of them." That doesn't mean shit. There was a bunch of well-dressed ladies all over the place. Those accepted or God, I can't remember the other word.
Novice.
Novices. Thank you. Accepted or novices. Yeah. I couldn't tell them apart. I didn't see any difference, and if I'm not mistaken, in the books, only accepted or allowed into the city and on errands or whatever. So novices wouldn't be out there, but the same young women that were in the town were actually in the tower walking in the background as well.
Yes.
To the point where it was the same actual people. So it's kind of hard to tell
What they were supposed to
what's
be.
going on. Yeah. You can.
Okay, good point.
We're studying. That was it. You know, they're to study. You know, to become Aes Sedai. That's it. That's all we know.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I would love to get the accepted test because, like, man, if we have to wait till they get raised to sisterhood in order to get a test, I will be sad.
Oh my gosh.
I need something before that. Nynaeve's test was amazing. I mean, both tests were amazing. I just posted recently on TikTok about what happens after her test for the shawl, and it was just so good. But her accepted test was also super cool. So I need both. I need both.
So
I don't remember what happened with the accepted test. It's been so long since I've read it.
They go through the rings, and basically what happened with Rand at the Eye of the World in the show was kind of played out backwards as Egwene's accepted test, where she had a baby with him named Joya and all that stuff.
Yes.
So it was kind of reversed. So yeah, it was. And there were several things that she went through, but I mean that, of course, is the most memorable one to me, anyways. Yeah. But yeah, real quick, Rational Nerd said that in the script for season 1 only mentions novices but not accepted.
Yeah,
so that's interesting.
So will they simplify the tiers, or will there be like a test to become a novice, or like who knows, or maybe that'll be just something they do to train them further to test. I don't know. There's no telling what they're going to do to the structure of the White Tower because it's very complicated, and it doesn't have to be the way that it is in the books to work.
No. It could just be student / Aes Sedai.
I'm surprised they didn't expound on that because we see a woman who didn't pass test in Amalisa, and she has the ring, but there's no stone in it.
That's true.
I mean, Morgase got a ring
They don't
too.
clarify like how far she went in the tower.
True.
They don't, but in the books, like Kritter just said, Morgase also had a ring that didn't have a stone, and I think they did give rings to
nobility.
Women that went to the tower to study and then went back, whether they had power or not, because Morgase couldn't light a candle, if I'm not mistaken.
She could move a flag.
That was it. Yeah, she could move a flag.
Eventually.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. This guy pointed out that Egwene learns what balefire is in her test.
Yeah, man. I've read Nynaeve's. Aes Sedai test much more recently than her accepted test, and I'm like honestly drawing a blank. Part of me's like, oh, this is
Yeah, I
whenever
don't remember.
Lan was like trying to get her to stay because they could like have a life together. But part of me's like, no, that was her Aes Sedai test, right? Like I can't.
Yes. Yeah.
So now I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't, you know, there was one where she had spiders all over her. There was one where she was like trapped in a bunch of
yeah.
brambles. Like there were so many things, but I'm like, now I'm not sure which one is which.
Everything I can think of is from her accepted test. When what is it? She runs into the new wisdom that started working in Emmons Field, and the wisdom's horrible, and
she wanted to help them.
Yeah. That's right, and she couldn't.
Right, and that wasn't her Aes Sedai test? I feel like that sounds so familiar to me.
I'm pretty sure that was the accepted, because she had just left the tower, or just left Emmons Field for the tower.
Who was that, Egwene?
Nynaeve.
No, Nynaeve.
Nynaeve became an accepted off the bat, didn't she?
She had to take a
Did
test.
she even go through the test?
Mm-hmm.
Did she not?
I think
People in the chat, please correct us if we're talking about this test that never
Maybe
happened.
that's why we can't remember what happened.
Yeah, because they offered her to be an accepted straight off the bat, and then they didn't force her, but they told her how horrible it was to be a novice.
No.
She does mention,
she would make...
if I remember correctly, she mentions her accepted test in passing, because they wouldn't just raise her without having her test.
That's it. Oh my god. Okay,
did
no.
we not watch it?
Luke Aes Sedai has it. Okay, so Nin's accepted test. 1 is Forsaken, 2 is New Wisdom in Eamon's Field, and 3 is having babies with Lan. Okay, so that.
Why didn't I not remember any of that? What the fuck?
I remember that. I just couldn't remember which one it was. Like, but now that I'm thinking about it, the Aes Sedai test is all those stupid weaves. Not real. Stupid. All the weaves. Like it's 100 stages of weaves, and so but obviously the weaves had something to do with. I mean, some semi-related to what was going on in these visions or whatever. But I forgot that the accepted test was like. What was it? Something for the past, something for the present, something for the future. Yeah. That was the vibe.
That's right.
I totally forgot her test.
Okay, thank you so much. That was bothering me a lot.
Good job.
I remember Lan's accepted test, though.
Oh, yeah?
Tell us.
So I think we all agree, though, that Nynaeve is headed to the tower, and she may or may not become an accepted, and she's eventually going to go save Egwene from Falma, right? So we're pretty set on that. So... Any other thoughts about Nynaeve before we talk about Lan? Because we got to get into Lan before the end of the night.
Yes. I mean, I can keep going about Nynaeve, but yes.
I feel you.
Have one question.
Okay.
So, aside from the many things that Nynaeve did, right, with healing and stilling and gentling and all that stuff, her big explosion moment happened at the bottom of the river, right? Which has already happened in episode 4, kind of. And again, in the ways when she did the big, she cast Expecto Patronus against Machin Chin or whatever the hell that was. I'm sorry,
happened at the bottom of the river? What are we talking about?
Yeah, remember when
she broke her block.
Oh, when she broke her block.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Got it.
Yeah, so the boat got bale fired. She ends up at the bottom of the river, stuck in the air bubble. Right? Oh, and so she had her big explosion there when she finally let go and accepted, the source. Yeah, she surrendered finally.
Surrendered, great word.
Which is kind of like what we saw in episode 4, sort of. I mean, except that was just her anger just blowing up. We've seen her explode twice. Right? We've seen her explode twice there, and then once again when she defended the group against Machin Chin, and of course at Tarwin's Gap, just the raw amount of power that was coming into her and Egwene compared to the other two that were out there.
I mean, she's impressive.
How much bigger are they going to get? Do you think they're going to get with her powers? Those are pretty huge examples of what she can do.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about the can't remember the name of it, scaling of the power or something in the show, where it feels way larger scale way earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they're all different types of displays of power, right? Like one of them was healing, and it looked like an explosion. To be fair, the other one was like a bubble to protect, like a shield of air, essentially, is what she did. And if we have the boat, it will be a legitimate explosion, right? Because she just she explodes the boat, and then Lan gets her.
It'll be the mirror to demise.
Lan gets her.
Lan grabs her, snags her out of the water. So I think she's allowed to have multiple cool moments. Like Rand had a bunch of like incredibly violent, over OP, like incredibly high scaled times of channeling, and people weren't like, "This is boring. Like, stop doing that," So I think it'll be fine, as long as it's not sort of like the same thing every time. We should be okay.
Well, here's the thing: the healing. I'm just going to put this out there. Was not just healing, because not only did she heal everybody in that cave, she mended their freaking clothes.
Hey, she healed their clothes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's not. So that's why I called it an explosion, because she did more than one thing in that outburst. She did multiple things. Also, the scaling I think is on point in the show, because they have to be so much bigger than the Aes Sedai that are on the show, because they are that more powerful in the books, right? So they have to show that from the beginning, that they're as strong as Aes Sedai are on the show already, if not more. So I think they're on point with it.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it personally.
No.
Okay. Insert some kind of awesome transition graphic. All right, let's talk about Lan. Lan. Let's talk about Lan. Someday I'm going to figure out how to do this, but until then, here we are.
We are professionals.
Thank you for being here. I think we've talked a lot about Lan and Nynaeve, and so why don't we get into Lan and our girl Moiraine? Do you think their relationship is different? Do we like it? How do we feel about it, Winespring?
Oh gosh, I love it in the show. I think they're doing a great job displaying it, and it's fun. Like they actually have like a relationship with each other. They know each other. They have a sense of humor. They aren't just like a rock and a stone. I really enjoy seeing them interacting awesomely together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they're doing a better job maybe in the show than in the book. Giving it to us like up front.
I tend to agree with that. Tavern, how do you feel about it?
I think the relationship is the same as in the books, with the exception that we're seeing it from an internal point of view, right? Where in the books we almost always see it from somebody else's point of view as they're watching Lan and Moiraine interact. On the show, we actually get to be inside. We get to see it from the inside of their relationship. So I actually do think that the relationship is identical to the books. But we're seeing more because they're showing us sides that we didn't get in the books.
Yeah,
it's true. It does feel a lot more like New Spring. Tavern.
Yeah.
Have you read New Spring yet?
I have
finished it, right?
I have not finished it. I told you I'm on hiatus for my lumbago.
I'm upset.
Whatever freaking lumbago is.
I'm upset about it. Whatever. Okay. Rachel, how do you feel about that? This relationship, or like Lan generally? Does he feel like similar, different? Like what are the big differences if they exist?
The biggest difference is, again, I've got to mirror what everybody said, is we're getting that inside scoop. We're seeing him through, Moraine's eyes. We're getting a lot of more of that back and forth that, we're not always privy to in the books. However, they are still maintaining, like, when we look at the conversation between Stepan and Karene, and like, oh, imagine, having dinner with those. What are their dinners like?
So funny.
Yes. So they still, for all intents and purposes, are giving off that vibe apparently to others in the book. Or in the show.
Point. Yes.
So people still perceive, others, outsiders, so to speak, perceive them that way. But we get to see their inside. And yeah, it's definitely, I mean, I almost want to liken it to like a sibling relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so much more than that. Like that doesn't seem to cover it right. But I like that, Lan in general, I mean, he seems, I guess the thing in the book, it's easy to do that in a book where, he was stone-faced. And Daniel Henney does that well.
Yeah.
But he has to give like it's acting. Like he has to, portray this character. He can't just stand there like a monologue all the time. So I like that we're getting a little bit of more, we're getting to hear more of Lan. He's speaking his thoughts out loud, and I love to see it. I've been really happy with Lan's portrayal.
I agree. He's
I tend to think of it because of the bond. Like you said, it's almost like siblings, but not.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
to me, it's exactly the same, except because of the bond, I want to say it's almost like being twins.
Yes.
Right?
That's what I was thinking.
Where,
I like that.
where they're siblings, but there's so much more than that because they're sharing emotions and thoughts and all of this stuff. They've been together for 20 years, right? They know every inch of each other's thoughts and minds and bodies, and not even in a sexual way, just because they're so comfortable with each other that they can be naked in a tub together, and joke about with the water, whether it's hot or not, and not even give a rat's ass, right?
Such a good moment.
I love that.
So to me, it's almost
Could
like
be warmer.
Could be warmer.
It's like they're twins, almost.
Help them out.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that 100%. Also, Nemethril, I see you. I am not about to be a dark friend. And Thranduil would never be a Forsaken, okay? So just relax.
Well, I got something for her later, Nemethril.
Oh, God. Not the twins. Why not? Why? I feel like they are kind of like twins. I like that analogy a lot. I think it totally fits. I'm looking
Jessica?
for a bath photo and not finding one, and it's upsetting me.
Oh,
Just like
What
them
photo?
together.
A butt
Oh, no,
photo?
we got one. No, we got one. Okay, I found
I'll
one.
say we have one somewhere.
It's in there. Here we go. There's Lan in the bath.
That's what she said.
There we go.
No butt cheeks, because this is a stream that I don't want to get taken down, and I don't know what the threshold is on that stuff. But I agree with that. I like the relationship better in the show, if only because we get to see it. And somebody in the chat said this, I think it was Jessica said maybe that what we saw in the books is what the boys saw, or what the POV characters were seeing, which was just these two people that are incredibly difficult to read and scary and imposing and telling them what to do. Whenever it's just them together, we don't have to worry about what other people see. It's just them, and it's so beautiful. This relationship is one of the best relationships, I think, in the show, probably the best relationship in the show. I'm trying to think of one that's better. And even Lan and Nynaeve, to me, it's fun and it's exciting and I love it and I'm like here for it. I'll be on that ship till the end of time. But as far as just like watching and seeing the dynamic is just so choice between Moiraine and Lan, and I love it.
Just to freak Rational Nerd out a little bit, because he's once again asking people to stop having those weird ideas about twins. I'll go so far as to add to the twin thought that when she blocks him off and then gets shielded, right, at the Eye of the World, he comes in and it's almost like two conjoined twins that have been separated, because he's like, unmask the bond. It was like he needed that fix, right? Because he's so used to it. It's like losing a part of yourself, which again, kind of goes back to the twin thing. So sorry, Rational Nerd.
Anthony Serta, don't call me your mom, okay?
What? Wait, what happened?
No, I don't.
That's my son.
I figured. Welcome.
Wait, what? Is he like, no mommy?
I'm sorry, it was a joke. I figured that's what it was, and just I was being a turd.
That was... Hi, Anthony. Welcome to the fire.
You never know.
You really don't ever know. You really don't. Okay, so Lan
great.
at the end. You mentioned this. The bond is masked, and Moiraine is what we think collectively on the show. Moiraine is shielded. Do you agree with that,
Yes.
Rachel? That she's shielded and not
Yes.
stilled? Okay.
Yes, I absolutely. It was the motion that he did with his fingers at the end that I can't. The twisty
Oh
thing.
yeah. We're there with you for sure.
Yeah. It looks like I'm doing a doorknob, but I'm trying.
I'm doing the same
channel
thing.
over here.
But
Tavern's the only one not doing it.
yeah. What the hell?
I absolutely think that she's shielded very well. Very well. I think it's going to take time to get that fixed up. And I'm curious to see how they're going to show her or who's going to help her get unshielded. So, but I absolutely believe that she's just shielded. I can't see them stilling her this early.
No way. I mean, the solution would be to have Nynaeve heal her, but that feels too early too, in my mind.
No, but do you think this is where Nynaeve starts studying?
Possibly. Possibly.
How if they change it from the book, she's using Moiraine as practice or studying to try to figure it out.
Could be. She'll be back at the tower though, so she could do this for at least for a minute. So I wonder if she would do the same with Logain.
Maybe.
That would be interesting. Oh my gosh, was she like
Rachel, I'm putting an application for you to adopt me.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, everybody's calling her mom on there. I want to be a part of that. Not in a weird way.
the
You
OG?
just became everyone's mom. That just
Take
happened.
it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
So Lan's bond is masked. Is he going to stick with Moiraine in season 2, or is he going to go off on his own and find Rand? Those are the running bets right now.
Yeah.
I think
He doesn't have ties.
Moiraine. I don't think he'll be able to bring himself to bond or no bond.
Yeah,
That's a 20-year friendship,
yeah,
and
Mm.
I can't see
Unless
him
you-
abandoning Moiraine.
it's totally fair.
Unless she tells him to go.
Possibly, but even that's kind of a stretch for me personally. I can't see him, and she's in a place where she can't defend herself.
That's
You know,
fair.
because she can't channel.
Such a
true.
good point. Oh my gosh.
I did not
Great
think of
point.
that, but that is a really good point. No way,
Mhm.
he's just going to be like,
Super vulnerable.
peace! you
Have
may
fun
die.
with Leandrin. Bye.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's gonna be like Velcro to her now.
Yeah.
Such a good point.
It's possible. I still think there's an option where she tells him to go after Lan because we discussed this before, that it wasn't until after Lan took off on his own that Moiraine realized this was just a seal. It
Rand.
wasn't the actual
That's a good
end of
point.
it, right? So yeah, Rand.
Yeah.
So they need to go get him back.
Mhm.
Okay,
It's
so
not
you think
over. This
she's
is
going to
the
have a
beginning.
change of heart? Like, she let Rand go, but she's going to be like, JK, we need to follow him. Lan, let's get your bags, let's go. That's going to be
He
the
might-
vibe?
He might send Lan because she'd be useless at that. I mean, not that Moiraine is
Yeah.
useless, but she's got a lot of knowledge. But without her powers, not a whole lot to do. And without the bond, it allows Lan to do whatever he needs to do.
Yeah.
And the sooner they find Rand, the
So
better.
I mean, there's still a chance of that. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but there's still a chance.
Now that I'm thinking
Full
about
spoilers.
Oh, yeah, go
I
ahead.
think I have to agree with that because I can't see Moiraine hanging out at the tower while the girls are training and then letting Leandrin take them off somewhere. I can't see that happening if Moiraine is around.
Well, she is banished, right? So I don't know if she's going back to
yeah.
the tower.
Right.
She can't go back.
yeah, not like a round.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Part of
I
me
don't know
thinks
how I forgot about that, but
It-
I did.
I think because everyone was like, you swore an oath to Swan. Swan could, in a moment, be like, "Come on back, baby," and she could just come back. You know what I mean? So,
Baby, come back.
baby, come back.
Love you.
So I didn't really think about this necessarily because I thought whenever Moiraine cut Rand loose that she was like, "You gotta go find your wings, small baby bird." But now I'm like, maybe
Small baby
maybe because she realized that was just the beginning, that her and Lan both will start following him. That feels like slightly silly because it's like, you literally just let him go and now you're gonna start tracking him, unless it's like
So-
from a safe distance or whatever. Like, but yeah,
Right.
I don't know.
So if they start following him, well, actually, this might work because that leaves Nynaeve
Nynaeve
and Egwene
and
and
Egwene.
Faldara by themselves which would be perfect for Varen to come in and scoop them up and take them back to the tower. If we get Varen that early.
Yes.
I want
Me.
Varen that
Here
early.
comes Baron. Here comes Baron. Okay.
Please.
All right.
Meme reborn. I took Lan out of
Yeah.
the bath. Okay, he's out of the bath. That's fine. Was it? It's like if you
If you
leave,
leave him in the-
Lan in the bath for too long, he'll wrinkle. You're right. You're
He's
not
made
wrong.
he's made of sharp edges. Meme. He does not wrinkle, sir.
It does not wrinkle. It's part of the bond.
Rational Nerd has an interesting thought. Maybe Moiraine and Lan will go to Carian, biggest library after Tarvalin, for research purposes, and that's
Would be
where
awesome.
Rand is going to. Could be.
Mm.
There's so
Or
many
to
things. they
to
could
Van
do.
Dien.
Or to Van Dien and
Van
Adelius.
Adelis.
It's true.
Yes.
So many options, because that's where they actually go in book 2, right? They go to Van Dien and
Yeah.
Adelius for research purposes. So
They could merge those and have them in Carrion
they could. They
instead of out in the woods.
in the middle of
Mhm.
nowhere. Yeah, they could
Yeah.
do that. You're
They
not wrong.
could.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. There's so many things. I'm not sure.
Or if
Land.
they could possibly, I mean, there's also the possibility of them going to Camelin
yeah.
and maybe with the excuse of researching or and that's how we're introduced to the Trapans. I mean,
Could be.
Mm.
that's a
Could be.
possibility.
Mhm.
I don't think it's a likely possibility. I'm just spitballing.
Yeah. I'm fairly. I feel like Elaine's gonna be waiting for them at the tower, and whenever Elaine went to
Oh,
the
yeah.
tower,
For sure.
Gawain and Galad were already like they went
Yeah.
with her, and so like that to me, you might be right, but because it would be cool to see Elaine, Galad, and Gawain like in their element in Camelin before we see them at the White Tower. I'm just not sure if there's time for
Well,
that,
it would be cool to
or
see
if there's
Galad and
budget.
Elaine.
If there's budget for Camelin in season 2, when we're probably gonna get Falma, maybe Tyr, Tarvalin again, like possibly Carian if Rand has a similar plot. Like there's so many other options that don't involve Camelin.
Yeah.
It could be though.
And how many episodes are we going to have in season?
8. I think.
I mean, it's a lot for 8 episodes.
I agree with
It's a
what you
lot.
said, except for one thing,
What's
and
that?
that's that I will be glad to see Galad and Elaine in their natural element. Nobody wants to see Gawain anymore.
That's true.
I'm throwing that out there.
Ooh, and we'll also get Elida in her glory as
Oh,
well.
Lida.
Glory and
As
I wanna
take it,
love
she'll be
Elida so
escorting-
much.
I take it she will have
Do it.
escorted them to the tower, so she'll be up in there, which
Yeah.
is good times.
Mhm.
So
Oh, Rational is saying he's going for a Camelin cold open.
Ooh, he's call. I don't think we have somebody calling that yet, so we'll put we'll put you down
That's a new theory. Yes.
in our little notebook. We'll
I
write
like
it
that.
down.
We need to have a
like
bingo.
that.
Listen, we need to do as a show. We need to do a
Yeah.
bingo for cold open.
Cold open, like some kind of like raffle or I don't know,
Some
like
shit.
so a pick'em tournament.
for a mug. I like it.
Yeah, we might even give away a mug.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be hilarious?
Maybe that'll
Uh,
happen.
Yeah, Dame Alex Lobo, so many sets. Like that's the thing. Like that's why we keep saying we're gonna assume because Rafe said season 2 will be books 2 and 3, right? Some people will be on their book 2 arc, some people will be on their book 3 arc. So we've got definitely Tarvalin, 100%. Like multiple people are there.
Yeah,
Matt's
for sure.
already there. And then
Yes.
the little survey thing that got sent out suggests that Rand is going to Falma, plus Falma's the big finale for book 2. So you have to assume something's going to happen there. And the question is Rand going to Carian at any point, which he did in book 2? Or is he going to go to Tyr, which he did in book 3? So it's just, there's a lot of sets. There's just a lot. Plus they said that we're going to see the Waste. Granted, that's probably not going to take as much like construction. They'll just be out in the middle of the desert. But it's still a set,
Such a good
you know?
point. It
So,
is
I
the
don't-
Location still.
There's
Yeah.
lots and lots.
I would like to say
kind of
to-
unrelated. Someone in the chat, Luke Eyes Jedi.
Yeah.
If I hope I said that right. I'm hoping the show will make Gawain slightly likable, and I think they will. I really think they will because they've done it with other characters. I really feel strongly that because he's so. Everybody knows how the fandom feels about Gawain. I don't need to go into that, but
Except for John from What Up, but everybody else.
except for John.
Rachel?
But I really feel like they're going to improve his character. I have a hunch he will be much improved.
That'll be interesting to
Rachel
see.
was much kinder than I was going to be to Luke Aes Sedai for making that comment. I was going to tell him to wash his mouth out with soap. Cannot make Gowan likable. Screw that guy.
In fact, we should cut him immediately. We should have Matt actually kill him whenever he fights him with a quarterstaff.
That would be amazing.
Oh my gosh.
That would be amazing. I would pay. Okay, I'll pay money for that.
No.
They should do a Kickstarter
Money
for
for
it.
that.
Oh. Sorry, I should never have said that. No.
Screw that guy. No, you should have. I've never been prouder.
So bad.
Never
Oh my
prouder.
gosh.
You guys might be shocked, but I agree, Rachel, that I think a complicated, more likable Gawain would make for good TV.
Oh.
He would make for good TV. Like, it's the, like, why is she with him? There are so many shows that I
The
watch.
guy you love to hate guy.
Yes, there
Yeah.
are so many shows that I watch where I love the woman in a couple and I hate the guy. And it's like so fun to just hate him, you know? And so I think that would make great TV. Like the fandom hates Gawain. It's a fun like meme to this day. Imagine when that happens in front of us on the screen. Like amazing. Like
Oh my God.
the potential is
I
so
mean,
high.
And
I
the
would
rat
watch
bastards have us liking Alana.
It's
Yeah, that's what I was about
True.
to say. I was
Love
talking
it.
about Alana.
Love
Alana
it.
is someone I
Ugh.
hated in the books. Like I've never
Oh,
liked
really?
her in the books, and I love her. She's a fan favorite.
Mhm.
I think she's fantastic.
She is. Also like
With
Leandrin.
her persimmons.
That Leandrin is one of those love to hate people. Like it's
Yeah.
She is a love to hate.
it's seeing her on. Oh, also by the way, can I just say really quickly? I always do like a personal aside, and so here we go. Also, this is related to the cons that are coming up.
Yeah.
I'm helping play in WatCon. You should go. It's in July, and I'm not helping play in JordanCon, but I'll be on a couple of panels. It's gonna be lit. And
cool.
if you don't have passes for either of those yet, well, I don't know if JordanCon are available, but you should definitely get them for WatCon. And if you're coming to JordanCon, it's very exciting. But I just got something in the mail. I am definitely now
Just got a
going to
letter.
do a Leandrin cosplay based on the thing that came in, and it fits, and so it's happening, and I'm really excited about it. And I am, by the way, I'm not a dark friend, okay? So don't even say anything like that. I'm just blonde.
That's what a dark friend would say.
I'm just blonde, and I loved Kate Fleetwood as Leandrin. She inspired me
Yes, so much.
So,
Mm,
anyways, that's my.
very cool.
It's not super oversharing, and it's related to the Wheel of Time, but you know what? That may be all you're getting today, other than the fact that I'm wearing shorts. So you're welcome. So Lan, let's get back to that.
Perfect.
So, I guess we don't know what he's doing in season 2, basically. Somebody in the chat way earlier said, are we going to get a wedding? A Lan and Nynaeve wedding. So now let's talk about them together, shall we? Since we kind of
Okay.
did them separately.
Right.
Sooner, later? Like, how do we feel about Lan and Nynaeve and where they're going next? Because they're going to be physically separated for probably a while.
So do you think we'll have a ceremony of some sort before they separate?
No.
No. I think they need to have the Athenmere or whatever, the Sea Folk wedding, primarily because relationship and the way they had to deal with their marriage was so important because of the Sea Folk wedding that they had. They had to make that deal whether one person was in charge in public and the other one in private. It was such a huge part of their relationship after that wedding that it has to take place.
Yeah. I also kind of just like dig it, you know? It's world
cool.
building in the sense that it's like I love that like one is the boss in the streets and the other is the boss in the sheets. You know what I mean? Like think about that. Like it's and
Brown
I
chicken, brown cow.
well, and I think it makes the warder bond less problematic in the context of a married relationship, right? Because one is clearly the boss in that relationship. Like they could literally compel warders to do what they want, and apparently it's done. Like you tweak the bond to make them do what you want. Apparently really frequently, which I think is just sus as hell. Like I don't like that at all
Super
about the warder
uncomfortable
bond.
with
Really
that, yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But if you add that little bit of a dynamic where it's like, yeah, maybe in public, but not in private, sis. Like, he's the boss, you know? Like, I like that a little better. Like,
Flash.
it makes it just a little better, I think.
It makes so much sense that Nynaeve would choose to be in charge in public because she cannot be seen. Her personal OCD about not being seen in charge, she can't have it.
Yeah, she doesn't want to be perceived as subservient ever to anyone, even the
Ever,
Amerlin
yeah.
seat. so that would be a problem. Like, I don't think that would be anything. But I think they are headed to the altar, if that's the question that somebody asked like 30 minutes ago. I don't think we're going to get it in season 2. I think we'll get them reunited in season 2. Official prediction. Maybe they'll see each other at the end of season 2 or something. I don't know why or where. But
Wow, that would be a long
I
time.
don't think we'll get a wedding until like season 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a whale.
Wow,
It's gonna be a while.
Really?
I
So-
think so. Like four at the
I thought like 3
extreme
for sure.
earliest, but I think a season 5 wedding, just letting that simmer and build up because they are spending a lot of time together.
Mhm.
yeah.
So I think it'd be weird if they just got married season 3. Not to say they can't do it. I think it's more likely to manifest later on.
I think that's fair. And
Let
honestly,
that anticipation build.
the end game relationships. You always want the next thing to happen with the relationships, the ships that you're on, and like it's the anticipation that is kind of amazing.
It is.
So somebody else in the chat earlier completely lost it, but I appreciate all the questions and we're trying to catch up to them. Somebody asked, "Are we going to get Lan's bond?" This is a full spoilers chat, by the way. Things are about to get real spicy if you haven't read the book. So
Full spoiler.
like full spoilers. Okay, thank you. Great. Is Lan's bond going to get passed to Morel and then to Nynaeve, or is it going to go directly to Nynaeve? My answer to that is 100%. We need that. Winespring, do you have thoughts?
We need Morel for sure.
We need
Is what you're
Morel, is
saying,
that what you're
right?
saying?
We need Morel. We
Yes.
need Morel. 100%.
Absolutely. We need the line about like, give me his bond right now, or else,
Yes.
or else.
Do you think? Wait a minute.
Yep.
Do you think they're going to have Morel, or do you think they're going to substitute Morel with Alana?
That's the question.
Alana, I would be fine with that.
I'd be fine with either possibility.
Do you think Alana is literally going to be bonded to both Rand and Lan, possibly simultaneously?
Oh
Can
my
you
God.
imagine the power that woman would wield?
She could do it.
Yeah.
She could do it. I believe in her.
And she'd be getting persimmons for
100%.
days.
So many persimmons.
So many snacks.
I was
So
going
many
to say,
snacks.
Alana
snacks.
in the books, not so much. Priyanka Bose, Alana,
Oh yeah.
hell yes.
Oh, yeah.
Hell
Yeah.
Oh
yes.
my God,
all
Queen
day.
Priyanka? Yes, please.
Oh
amazing.
my gosh. Hey, Courtney Findlay, what if they do Alana? I think that's what we're like speculating about, because if they do
Yeah.
Alana, it's literally she's got Rand eventually and Lan bonded. Like, that is too strong.
Yeah.
That's so OP.
Yeah.
There's like, it feels impossible. Like, I can't,
then-
I can't see that as what happens.
It's like I want it at the same time.
I do. I want it, but like, wow, that's a lot.
I think it's more likely that they will keep Morel or another Aes Sedai taking Lan's bond.
Mhm. I wonder who it would be.
That's a little bit more likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I'm still trying to figure out what characters they're going to cut.
Yeah.
Right out of the
Sure.
books, because I mean we've seen them cut tons of characters already. Not cut so much as they might have been background characters that weren't even mentioned, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll definitely be interesting.
I think Morel is 100%, like, I think Priyanka Bose as Alana is definitely giving Morel vibes. So it could
Yeah.
absolutely go that way.
And that's
And
why I
that
was
could have
thinking,
been a
because
character merge that they decided to do. I mean, it absolutely works.
It does.
and we've already got what's his face from the White Cloaks, Valda. Is kind of a mix between Valda and what's his face, the questioner guy, because Valda in the books was not a questioner.
Bacon Carradine?
Yeah.
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 They've kind of
great
merged
show.
those two together.
Kind of. We don't know if he's a dark friend yet, though. I mean, it's kind
We
of.
don't.
I mean,
You
possibly.
don't, but Valda was not a questioner in the books,
Oh, that's right. You're right.
so it's kind of a toss up. And I can see where they kind of did it, because there was a ton of different White Cloaks that, like Pedron Niall, shows up in the books for a smidge, right, and then gets taken out. So why even have him in the show when they could just put Bornhald as the leader from the get go?
Yeah. It's
There may be somebody above them, but I don't know.
I don't
MJ
know.
Daniel just commented, disappointed about Basil Gill so far. I want more of him later on. Yes, justice for Basil Gill.
Maybe
Yeah, no
he'll
shit.
take Swan. Maybe he'll take Swan out of Tarvalin instead of Morghese out of Caelin.
Hey,
Oh,
hey,
hey, there you
awesome.
go.
He's a good
I'm here
Amerlin's
for it.
man. Okay.
That would be awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on from the wedding,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Sure.
Where do you see them in the future? Because that image that you had up is almost foreshadowing of what they would look like married with kids,
I know, and I love it.
which is amazing, right?
So
Precious.
cute. I
So
want them
speaking of which,
together.
I read a news article
Ooh.
that after Tarman Gadan, I don't know if any of you read this or not, Lan and Nynaeve adopted a Trolloc baby. And as it was growing up, its first words were "Egwene go pop."
What the wait,
I saw that.
was that on the Weekly Wheel News? Like, where was that?
Yes.
Okay,
That had to
the
be
first words
WWN,
thing was
wasn't
mine. Yeah, it was WWN. So kudos to Rob.
Yeah, that's perfect.
He didn't actually. The baby didn't speak. I made that part up, but I can imagine a baby Trolloc first words for Lan and Nynaeve's "Egwene go pop." I can definitely see that.
I'm moving on from that statement. Wow. The disrespect. How would it even know, first of all?
Because
The baby was
it grows
cute, I
up on
think.
stories from Nynaeve of Egwene.
I don't want to talk about it.
Hmm.
You didn't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Hop.
So,
Big bada boom.
yeah,
But bada boom.
I think the thing about these two characters that we're no longer talking about that statement is that they are separate for a lot of the series. And eventually, and honestly, even when they're married, they're separate, right? Like it's like they eventually split back up again. She drops him off in the Borderlands, and he's gone. Although she eventually gets his Jessica Sedai, take that out of your mouth. Like, stop talking. Literally, stop it. So I think that granted, Robert Jordan is in the best of relationships, so their foundation isn't necessarily the strongest in the books. But I'd be curious to see if they spend more time together in the show than they did in the books, because they were separated a lot, right? Like a lot.
Well, two things, especially in book one, we're seeing a lot of their relationship through Rand's eyes, which is
True. Fair
not
point.
the best
Very
POV,
mature.
not the best
Mhm.
POV in book one. And again, I have to agree with what you said, that Robert Jordan, a lot of times now, I feel that their relationship was the better of some of the other ones that he wrote.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But it was just kind of sprung on you, like it was an insta love sort of thing. And while that can happen, I like that they're taking more of a, there's banter and again, that's the blessing of having these POVs also that we don't get in the book. I love seeing, the little bit of bickering back and forth and the headbutting, and then how he slowly wins her over and she was winning him over unconsciously. It's just kind of happening. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. Again, I will say in the first book, a lot of it, especially even that main exchange they have where he explains why he can't be with her, that's all through Rand's POV.
Yeah.
It's true.
Actually,
It's a good point.
I've been thinking about what you said about episode 5 for a possible wedding. Right?
Season 5.
Season
Yeah,
5.
season 5. Sorry,
Or season 5?
It makes total sense because we remember the Rafe comment where the cast freaked out when we said somebody was dying at beloved characters dying at the end of episode 3.
Season 3.
So yeah, sorry. God damn, I keep saying that.
It's okay.
Season 3. So we kind of thought that might be Moiraine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That was my guess. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So the general consensus is it might be Moiraine. If that's the case, it would make sense to have an entire season of Lan, right, Lan's bond being held by someone else to build up the drama for season 5.
Agree. I'm
Makes
100%
complete
on
sense.
board with that.
I like it. I like it. Here's shirtless Daniel Henney, for your viewing pleasure.
Yeah.
So I was just looking through the photos, and I was like,
Daniel Henney.
I haven't shown this one yet, so here we are.
I
Body parts.
100% approve. That's a fantastic choice.
Annual body parts Henny.
Yep. What can I say?
Oh no.
Hey.
Make me bring my calendar down.
I always welcome the calendar. If you don't know this, Tavern won a Warder calendar from the Wheel of Time account, so he's got a calendar filled with the Warders from the Wheel of Time. Who was March? It's day 1. Who was March?
Oh, hold on. I got to flip the...
Yeah,
okay, I'm wearing shorts. I don't
You
have
have
problems
shorts?
showing you legs.
I'm
So,
seeing some
I got no
legs.
issues.
Actually, we can't see your legs, so you're
Shorts?
fine. Oh, there they are. So Daniel
there
Henney
they are.
shirtless in Tavern shorts. Love it.
You got a nice tavern butt shot.
Jessica said, "I thank you.
oh,
Have
okay.
a good evening."
Hi, Jessica. All right, so January was expensive land in the fire.
Nice,
Fire.
nice.
Ooh.
Okay.
Here we go.
February was mounted land.
Mounted Lan. I like the sound of that.
I was gonna say I was really excited for the photo at first. I was like, wait a minute.
And
Job.
so you'll be excited for
Sorry.
March.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, what's March? Which March? Go ahead, Edie.
March is Sleepy Go Bye Bye Land.
Ooh, the shoulders. You called that shoulders Lan. I mean, come on.
Here you go. That's that.
Dame Alex Lowe says, "I love Lan, but my lesbian ass has seen way more of Daniel Henney than I care for." I'm sorry. We can stop showing
I'm
it.
just gonna say, in this picture, his scars has muscles.
You know, it is.
Scott.
It's a
Weird.
thing.
Scars have muscles. That's so weird.
So MJ Daniel in the chat's asking, then we get Ebu Dar and the Bowl of the Winds. That would line up with the books. As in, for season 3, you think we're getting Ebu Dar / Bowl of the Winds for, that would be Nynaeve.
Season 3?
That's what we're asking. I don't know. When would it be? Season 3?
It would have to be.
I would think season 3, and I think they'll cut that plot line a lot shorter. I mean, they have to. They have to.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
I'm
so let's-
glad for it because
Yeah,
that was a little bit tedious after a while for me.
Let's think this through then, right? You have to, if we're getting Falma with Gwen being captured, right?
Yeah.
And Nynaeve and Elaine helping her escape, and Lan and all of them showing up, would have to be season 2, which means that the Bowl of the Winds to be in 3, unless they change the story completely around, you would have to get Saladar. And for Saladar to happen, we would tentatively have to get Egwene in the waist.
I mean, technically, like, somebody else could tell them to go chase the Bowl of the Winds. Like,
True.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Easy switch.
book pathology, right?
yeah, no, you're right.
All of these things that have to happen. Now, could they change the books around? Of course they can. They've already done it. They've already changed the geography of the world a couple of times.
Right.
So anything is possible.
Yeah. Bowl
It
of the
just
Winds
depends on.
wasn't my favorite plot, so I'd be fine with
No,
shortening
it was weird. It was so much running around in Teleran Riyadh looking for the thing, and then it was a hot mess. It was a lot.
Yeah. I
It's a
think
lot.
one way to expedite that too is because like the Bowl of the Winds is going to require some World of Dreams action, right? Because that's how they find it. It's like somebody's like, this is, we need something that's going to fix the weather. It's driven by need. They're talking to wise ones about it, whatever. And so, like, if that's how they're going to do it, it's going to take a minute, and it's maybe not going to be at the beginning of season 3, for example. Egwene's going to go to the wise ones in the waste, start training. Somebody's going to have the dream Terangrial, and they'll be talking, and then Egwene's like, here's the deal, like, this is how you do this. And then they get somebody else to give them their blessing to go out and find the thing that's going to save the weather. That could work. It's not going to be people's favorite plots. I think everyone's going to care a lot more about what's going on with Matt in that place and how they handle Matt's plot in Ebu Dar. But this isn't a Matt
They would have
episode,
to.
so.
Well, here's the thing: for the Bowl of the Winds, the Bowl of the Winds to even be a thing, right?
Mhm.
You would have to have the climate changing. Things would have to be getting hotter and drier, right, which was the whole reason for the Bowl of the Winds, to correct the seasons.
They could do that in season
What if they
2.
just remove the? What if they remove that?
Yeah,
entire
they
plot
could
line?
introduce the climate change in season 2 easily.
They
Yeah.
could easily remove it
They
from
could. They
the story.
could. They could.
They could
That's
remove it.
They could. Honestly,
I mean-
you're not wrong. That would be one plot.
8
again,
episodes. We could
Yeah.
say goodbye to the weather timeline.
I'm fine with that. I am 100% fine with that.
From the get-go, I've been
'Cause
fine with eliminating the kin, which would happen if we got rid of the Bowl of Winds.
I'm sorry,
presumably.
really?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I love
He
Egwene's.
did
Like,
it?
I love Egwene's. Like, anybody can come join, and the
Yeah.
idea that there are societies based on women who have been rejected by the Tower and runaways, beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Like, beautiful.
Yes.
But we don't
Yeah.
need all of the like. The kin are scared of the Aes Sedai, and the Windfinders hate the kin. Like,
No.
we don't need any of that. Like, that is not a thing
No.
that I enjoy. So,
Yeah.
um,
This
Fine
guy-
with keeping, I wouldn't mind. I'm fine with keeping the kin as long as we're not losing something else that I care for more.
sure.
Mhm.
But I think it is still one of those, even though there's a lot of great things about that plot line, there's a lot of things that are really, I mean, could you axe it and have it not affect the rest of the story? Yes, you could.
Sure could. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they have the Bull of the Winds in the last battle, because I did my last reread, like, sort of recently, in the last
I
year.
think they did too.
And it was like, yeah, they're controlling the weather right by, I think it's like right by the Shile Ghul or something, like,
Yeah.
because it's really bad weather. It's like, I mean, come on. Like, you don't really need that. I don't know. So yeah, we could. The point is though, like, what would the girls be doing, and like, what the hell else do
That's
they
what
do?
Sith guy said. What
other
would they
than-
be doing?
Mhm.
Anything they do other than
Circus.
the wind. Well, I mean, no, they do the circus like for
I
just
hated
a
the
brief
circus.
moment.
I literally hated the circus bit. At first, it was like, okay, this is cool, and then
Yeah.
it just became too important, and I was like, why? Why?
Mm.
It was, to me, it was like an easy way to get people out of trouble. Whenever there was big trouble and somebody needed to get out, there was the circus.
I like
So,
it.
to
I
me-
like the circus.
It was
I think the
I
circus
don't know.
will play better on the show than it does in the books.
Yeah.
I hope so,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I was like, ugh.
A lot of those details they can show in like a paint, you know?
Literally, yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind the circus
And it would
being
be
in the
very
show
nice.
as long as the main characters aren't hiding in the circus.
Yeah.
Like it's in the background or something. That would be all right.
I guess that's a big question. Like, what does Nynaeve do other than Abu Dar, right? So she eventually helps Rand with basically she eventually becomes like Rand's like super powered sidekick near the end,
Yeah.
right? And so before that though,
Yeah.
she's what, being hunted by Bulgarian,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
She's healing gently. She's like
Yeah.
she's
instilling-
in
Oh, yeah.
Saladar. Really good point.
Huge.
She's training to like remove her block, which I
Mhm.
yeah, that could be good. There's a lot of things that they do. It's kind of like, also like, this could be another instance where if we're removing the Bowl of the Winds because it's kind of superfluous and we're not super into it, like they could do something else that's not in the books, like Nynaeve did with the Aes Sedai camp in season 1. Come up with something
Yeah.
awesome. Send them against the Forsaken, or have Nynaeve be like, Moghedien insulted me in the world of dreams and I'm gonna go find her. You know, like, that would be very Nynaeve.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm gonna go
Or,
find
you know,
her.
what is it?
untraded my grave.
Hunting the Black Ajah. I mean,
hunting the Black Ajah, perfect. That could be their
Like,
whole
that's
mission.
A
they
lot
could-
of that should happen.
that sets her in a lane, you know, on plenty of adventures. So they could
Mhm.
really dive into that.
I love that. We are revenging
Yes.
against Leandrin. Like, you know, we hate
We'll be
her.
ready to.
We
probably.
know Nynaeve and her grudges. I mean,
Oh,
Yeah.
God, yeah.
it's gonna go down.
Yeah, there's so many things that she could do other than hunt the Bowl of the Winds. But I like that plot. I
Mhm.
just feel like, much like some other plots, like the hunt for Fael in Winter's Heart, it could be shortened. It could just
be
be
shortened.
shortened.
Yes.
Like,
Why you
shorten
gotta
it.
bring that up? You gotta bring that up.
why did the girls go after Tyr? I remember they kept running after the Black Ajah, but I don't remember where.
And Chico.
Yeah, that
Tanchico,
was,
yes.
that was
Mhm.
Tanchico.
Yep, they went to Tanchico, and then they ran into them over there as well, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, they helped is it the Panarch?
That was the...
They went to they helped the Panarch,
Japan arc.
Then
right.
they heard about the tower breaking on their way back.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, yeah, because they
Right.
got the yellow sisters.
Yes, the fork-root. And
Yeah, all the
that.
fork and all that was a good. That would be a scary scene. Can you imagine these?
And they bumped into Aiel on the way too. Like the Aiel helped rescue him. Like that was cool.
I love
There's
that.
a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, their traveling was pretty on point.
That's where we met Avienda for the first time, isn't it? Was
Yes.
Nynaeve and Elaine's travels, I believe.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were because they had a spear maiden of the spear that was injured.
Yeah.
Yes.
So many things that they could do other than do
So
it,
many.
but they could still do it. Who knows?
Mhm.
Who knows? Roger Duran
She's
agreed.
got more options than Lan does. It's so hard for me to peg down what they're going to do with Lan now that Moraine's plot has changed so drastically.
Yeah.
I'm
we've kind of brought
still
this up.
trying to figure out what they're going to do with him.
We've said this before. There is an option where, since we didn't get it on the show in Valdara, there's always the option that he, like I said before, he goes after Rand and teaches him how to use the sword.
Mm.
In their travels, they have some time to travel together. So there's that possibility. Again, this
I would
is all
still really like
speculative.
to see that. Yeah,
I would love to
The
see
sword
it because
play,
it was
for
a big
sure.
part of the books.
Yes.
So it would be kind of cool. And if he, for whatever reason, if we see the waste, and Lan is with Rand, would make sense because the Aiel recognized Lan, right?
Yeah, they do.
So-
yeah.
So it would make sense that it would be a good stop for them not to kill Rand on sight, even though he looks just like them. So
Am I remembering this right? On Alen, isn't that what they call him? Like on a line.
On a line, yeah.
On a line.
On a
That's
line.
it.
On a line.
Man
Yeah.
alone. I love that. I actually thought of while we were talking about the possible Alana / Morel bond. If it is Alana, that's another opportunity for the Lan Rand bond to mature, because then they would like literally be under the same roof, so to speak.
Oh my.
So yeah, they'll have more time to be together in that point too, if it happens. if it happens, and I'm not not in a biblical sense, just generally. Stop. I'm
No,
gonna,
no,
should I
no.
leave even if I'm wearing shorts? Like, come on, you guys. Like, I think like I'm
what would that ship name be? Ninana? Ninana? Well,
Nana?
it's better than the other way around because that would be horrible.
Wow, that's hard.
Yeah.
Ninana. I think Ninana would be good.
Rylan.
Eileen.
Right? Starts with an
Rylan?
R, so we've got Rand.
Here we go.
Raylan.
Mhm.
Rayne.
Oh, for Rand and Alana?
I was talking about Nynaeve. I was like, I can't figure this one out.
I was talking about Nynaeve and
No.
if you're talking about Rand and Alana, it would be Randana
Rand.
or Alan, which I like Randana better.
Randalalan. That's kind of like
Randala.
Oh,
Randalalan.
for sure that one. For
Randala
sure.
Ming Dong.
That's kind of what I say. I sound kind of weird, but it works. Yeah. Anyways, we are
And
stretching right now. What are we even talking about? We're coming up
okay,
on.
so-
Yeah. Tavern, go ahead. I think we need to
Alright, so let's
focus
see.
up for the end of the
So
stream.
we talked about Nynaeve, we talked about Lan.
We sure did. That's
We've talked about
Mhm.
Laneve
sure
to
have.
an
Yep.
extent. Well, we've gotten to the point where
Speculation.
we talked about the wedding and stuff. So the only thing left really is Carmen Gaidon, right?
Yep.
And what takes place there. And then we know that they're separated. Well, no, okay, no, we're actually skipping over the most amazing part of the series, which is my name is Nynaeve T.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, Dragon.
So,
The message I would send is this:
The moment.
my
Kritter,
husband rides
I will-
Sword
I will
Tomlin's
allow
cap.
you.
What? No, I mean, I'm not gonna do it. I was doing
Oh,
it, then I
You
said,
no,
were doing it already. It was
Yeah,
perfect.
just keep going. Go for it.
okay, well, it's
I brought it up because I know you wanted to talk about this.
well, all right. I mean, you guys know what happens. Spoilers. Nynaeve brings Lan to the Blight, drops him off at the very, not the Blight, sorry, at the Borderlands.
she-
Drops him off at the
she
very
messes with him.
far edge.
Yeah.
Trolls him and is like,
Trolls
here we
him.
go. I'm gonna get people to follow him, right? So she goes up to some rando ahead of Lan on the
Rando.
road, and says, "My name is Nynaeve Tialmira Mandragon. The message I once said is this: my husband rides from World's End toward Tarwin's Gap,
World's End.
toward Tarmangaiden. Will he ride alone?" And I think
Oh.
the mic
God.
will
Such a
drop
good-
out of the bottom of her skirts when that happens. Honestly, like where will it come from? I don't know, but it'll be there and it'll drop because it's like one of the best lines in the whole
I
series.
think that
It's
the
iconic.
mic will be
Iconic.
the mic will be at the end of her braid. So when
Drop.
she lets go of her braid, the mic will just hang off the end of her braid.
Will he ride alone?
It's probably
I always get so emotional with
it's probably my favorite part of the entire series.
It has to
for
happen.
sure.
It has to
Just a
happen.
mighty love.
They fed us with the "I will hate the man you love" speech.
I miss oversharing. What?
That was fan service.
It was.
And this will be another set of fan service. And I think just to top off the stream, last battle, what happens? They're not anywhere near each other, and I think that could be the same thing. Like but then we get a happy ending with them.
They find each other in the chaos. Yeah.
And
So there's a question in chat.
okay,
Will Ev, did I miss oversharing?
did I? Will Ev, I'm wearing shorts today, and I will be cosplaying Leandrin at the cons coming up. Those are my personal.
Not in shorts.
It's not
right?
oversharing. That's just facts.
I am wearing shorts, but I will not be standing up. And that's why. You did miss it, but here we are. So, anyways, now that we've got that out of the way, I think we're good. Does
Alright,
anybody
so-
else have any thoughts about Lan, Nynaeve, Laneve? I apologize for those of you who do not like ship names. It's one of my favorite things to do is to create ship names, so it's gonna happen.
We need to go pop.
Any other final thoughts about our Laneve stream and how they are and how they're different and where they're going? Winespring, anything?
Nope, just excited. Can't wait to see it. Hope it's not 2020.
I know, God, please let it be
Tony, what?
2020.
Wait, did you say? I missed that last part. Cut off for me. What did you say? What year?
I hope it's not 2023 before.
Oh,
No, me either. 2022. Fingers crossed.
for season 2, yeah, I'd be pissed. I have no final thoughts on this. I mean, I think we pretty much covered everything. As you know, Lan is my favorite character.
I don't think you said
Yeah.
that. Why would you
Said
say
it
that?
Who's your
before.
favorite character?
I have said that Lan is my favorite character. I've said it before.
Totally.
Well, now we know for sure.
Now we know
Because
for
he
sure.
exemplifies. Well, okay, so he exemplifies everything that it means to be a soldier, from the delusion of him being taking on more responsibility than he should, for things that are out of his control, to just the sense of guilt that he feels for his kingdom falling, and even though he was a child and he wasn't there. So yeah, Lan is my favorite character.
Wow. We
Love
learn
it.
something new every day. All right, Rachel, what do you
You go,
have?
Will Ev.
Final thoughts. Hit us with them.
I think I am surprised how much we covered in an hour and a half because
We're fast talkers
I,
on the
good.
I
Will and
was
Chill
kind
show.
of like, when I was
Fire.
going through notes and like looking through the companion, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's just so much to get through. So I'm impressed. No, I agree with you, Winespring. I am so excited, and I feel that they are playing true to the heart of the characters, and that's all I care about. It's really all I care about. I think we're getting those special moments, and I'm thrilled to see what's going to happen next, because even though I've read these books a bunch of times, it's a new turning of the wheel, and it's exciting. It's very exciting.
It's so exciting. What a time to be alive. I guess
I
that's
know.
kind of the thought, is just
Yeah.
I'm so happy that this is the time that we're in, and that when I was reading The Wheel of Time, and I started it in like middle school or early high school, and I was fan casting with my friends, just thinking how amazing it would be and how it would never happen, because back in the day, like, prestige television wasn't a thing, and so it was just
No.
like no way these books could be movies, and so they're just not. They're just not gonna happen, and then prestige television became a thing. Game of Thrones broke the mold, And
Thank you.
Thank you, Game of Thrones, even though you ended tragically.
Better or worse,
yeah.
they changed the game.
They changed the game. They broke the mold. They inspired Elon Musk, and here we are. Like it's or Jeff Bezos,
Wait.
not Elon Musk. Jeff Bezos.
I was about to say
sorry.
Elon Musk. What the hell?
Same
Like,
vibes.
What did I freaking miss? Did he
Same.
just buy Amazon?
Same vibes. Let's be honest. So yeah, I'm just really happy that we're in this day and age. I never thought I would see Lan and Nynaeve on screen, and the fact that I got to and am getting to and will get to more is just like one of the coolest things ever.
You know, you
100%.
you totally reminded me, like, the Nynaeve specifically was the reason I started my first Wheel of Time. I just wanted to talk about her.
Your first
with
Wheel of
people.
Time. What?
Blog.
Blog. Oh,
Blog.
that's awesome.
Years ago, you know, when blogging was first starting. Like,
That's amazing.
it was totally just I think my first post maybe was actually about Nynaeve. I just remembered, so you're right. It's been a long time. It's been a long time coming. Glad we're here.
But I'm so happy to be here.
I'm fighting with your children, Rachel.
Oh my gosh.
Why are you beefing with my kids?
Literally. Why?
Because they were like, "Go off, mom," and I was like, "Yeah, mom," and they were like, "Ha ha, Tavern,
my
back off. She's my mom."
Oh.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'm
on
gonna
that
throw down.
on that
I'm gonna throw
note,
down.
we all have
It's
a
gonna
new
be okay.
we all have
It's
a new
gonna be
mom.
okay.
Thank you, Rachel, aka Gray
Hey,
Ajah
Mom.
Sitter, for joining us.
Yes. Thank you. You're
Thank you.
awesome.
You're
You should
amazing.
go.
For having me.
You
This
should go-
was so much fun. It flew by.
I'm glad. You were a little nervous because this was your first ever live stream,
It
right?
was. This is my first
so
live
nerve-wracking.
stream. I was like,
But-
this could
was
be
I right?
bad. It could be great,
I
but
tell
it
you
could be bad.
Was I right though? Did I not tell you that it would be cool and we're pretty chill?
Very chill.
Well, it just, it's
What?
just hanging out with friends and talking.
Yeah,
So, like, 'cause
exactly.
at first
That's it.
you just, you're self-conscious of other people watching, and then after a little bit, it's just, I've been with some friends, so this has been awesome.
Yeah.
And you realize that the people in the chat are just more friends. You just can't see them,
Yeah,
you know?
they are.
We're all just hanging out, and it's a good time. So I'm so happy that you enjoyed it.
Except for Nimithril, he's an acquaintance.
Yeah, calling me a
I'm
dark
kidding,
friend,
Nim. I'm
so.
kidding. I love you, Nim. Sorry.
And so follow Great Ajah Sitter on TikTok, Twitter. Check out all of our deets in the description of this video. Thank you, Winespring, winespringcafe.com. Tavern, check out his merch. It's amazing. I'm wearing one right now. Watt Talk for
Oh,
Life.
here you are.
Yeah, I am.
Good
I
color.
can rep.
I'm wearing another.
Yeah, look at us.
Goes with shorts.
It goes with shorts. Depending on how you feel about that. Yeah, it can, at least. We appreciate everybody in the chat for being here. You guys are so amazing. I love the fact that you're so interactive, and talking to you is always a pleasure. We haven't yet talked if we're coming back next week, but we very well might. So keep your eyes on our Twitters and in my Discord, and we maybe we'll see you next week. Okay. Bye, guys. See you later.
Bye.